Under Miami's neon glow, where the pulse of South Beach hums with ambition, a single night shattered a woman's world. The clink of champagne glasses at Eclipse, the city's hottest nightclub, drowned out the whispers of betrayal. "You think you can play me, Amara?" A man's voice snarled, slicing through the laughter. Lucas Navarro, Miami's king of nightlife, turned on the woman who built his empire, Amara Nkosi, his brilliant wife. In one cruel moment, he revealed a darkness no one expected. What drove a man with everything to destroy the one he swore to love? How did Amara, a survivor, forge a revenge that burned brighter than Miami's lights? Drop a comment to tell us where you're tuning in from, and subscribe to catch our latest stories. Stay with us. Secrets unravel, and the truth will leave you speechless. Miami hums under a neon sky, its pulse throbbing through the veins of South Beach. The air is thick with salt and ambition, where dreams are spun in the flicker of club lights and sealed over champagne flutes. At the heart of this electric city stands Eclipse, the crown jewel of Navarro nights, a nightclub empire that draws the wealthy, the beautiful, and the restless. Inside, the bass vibrates through polished floors, and the crowd sways like a living tide, chasing the promise of a night that never ends. This is Miami, a place where fortunes are made, secrets are buried, and the line between glory and ruin is razor thin. Lucas Navarro owns this world. A man carved from the city's rough edges, he rose from a scrappy bartender pouring cheap tequila in dive bars to the king of Miami's nightlife. His smile could sell sand to the desert, his handshake a contract sealed in gold. With his sharp jawline and tailored suits, Lucas moves through Eclipse like a conductor, orchestrating the chaos of wealth and desire. To the city, he's a legend, a self-made man who turned ambition into an empire. But legends are built on shadows, and Lucas's shadow stretches longer than most. By his side is Amara Nkosi, a woman whose brilliance burns quieter, but no less fiercely. Born to Ghanaian immigrants, Amara is the marketing genius behind Navarro Night's meteoric rise. Her campaigns, woven with instinct and precision, transformed Eclipse into a cultural beacon. The club's logo, a crescent moon glowing silver against a midnight sky, was her creation, a symbol that now adorns billboards, cocktail napkins, and the dreams of Miami's elite. Yet in the glare of the spotlight, Amara is often overlooked. At galas, investors clasp Lucas's hand, praising his vision, while Amara stands a step behind, her contributions reduced to a polite nod. "She's talented for a marketing girl," one suit murmurs, his tone laced with a subtle condescension that stings like salt in a wound. Amara smiles through it, her poise a shield, but the slight lingers. To the outside world, Lucas and Amara are Miami's power couple, their lives a curated reel of glamour. Their penthouse overlooking Biscayne Bay glitters with floor-to-ceiling windows, reflecting the city's restless energy. Social media captures them toasting under chandeliers, their laughter framed in gold. But beneath the surface, cracks are forming. Lucas thrives on control, his charm a velvet glove over an iron fist. He revises Amara's campaigns without her input, slashing her carefully crafted ads with a red pen. "I know what sells," he says, his voice sharp, dismissing her protest with a wave. In meetings, he interrupts her, redirecting praise to himself. "Amara's got ideas, sure, but I'm the one who makes them real," he boasts to a table of investors, his laugh cutting deeper than he knows. Amara endures it, her faith in their partnership holding her steady. She believes in the empire they've built together, in the love that once felt unbreakable. She tells herself his need to dominate is just his nature. A man hungry for the spotlight, born from years of scraping by. But the slights pile up. At a recent launch party, a guest complimented her moon logo, only for Lucas to interject. "Yeah, she's good with the artsy stuff. I handle the big picture." The room laughed, but Amara's smile tightened, her shoulders stiffening under the weight of being diminished. Friends notice the shift, her eyes dimming when Lucas speaks, her voice quieter than it used to be. Yet she stays, convinced that their shared dream is worth the cost. The city embraces them, blind to the tension. Magazines call them the golden couple, their faces splashed across glossy pages. Eclipse is more than a club. It's a monument to their ambition, its silver moon glowing over Miami's skyline. But ambition is a fragile foundation, and in the quiet moments, when the music fades and the crowds disperse, Amara feels something stir, a restlessness, a whisper of doubt. Lucas's control, once reassuring, now feels like a cage. His dismissals, once brushed off, now settle like stones in her chest. The life they've built is dazzling, but it's built on a fault line, and Miami's lights can't hide the cracks forever. The stage is set, the players in place. In the heart of this city, where dreams are made and broken, Amara and Lucas stand on the edge of something unstoppable. A single spark could set it all ablaze. A single spark could set their world ablaze. And on a humid Miami night, that spark ignites. Eclipse pulses under the silver glow of its crescent moon logo, a beacon drawing Miami's elite like moths to a flame. The air hums with heat and anticipation, the kind of night where the city feels alive. Its heartbeats sink to the thumping bass spilling from the club's open doors. Inside, crystal chandeliers cast fractured light across a sea of sequined dresses and tailored suits. Waiters glide through the crowd, balancing trays of neon cocktails that glow like liquid fire. The energy is electric, a carefully orchestrated chaos that promises glamour and escape. Tonight, Eclipse hosts a private party to celebrate Navarro Night's latest expansion, a new rooftop lounge set to redefine Miami's skyline. The guest list is exclusive. Investors with deep pockets, influencers with millions of followers, and power players who thrive in the city's glittering underbelly. Amara Nkosi moves through the crowd with effortless grace, her silver dress catching the light like a mirror. At 4 months pregnant, her glow is more than the makeup dusting her cheekbones. It's the quiet strength of a woman carrying life and ambition in equal measure. She navigates the room with a marketer's precision, charming investors with her quick wit and disarming smile. Her eyes, sharp and warm, lock onto each guest as she pitches the rooftop lounge, her words painting a vision of moonlit nights and endless possibilities. This will be Miami's new heart, she tells a group of venture capitalists, her voice steady despite the chaos around her. They nod, captivated, but one leans in too close, his smile patronizing. "You're quite the saleswoman," he says, the word laced with a subtle edge, as if her talent is a surprise. Amara's smile holds, but her fingers tighten around her clutch, a flicker of frustration beneath her poise. Across the room, Lucas Navarro holds court at the bar, his laughter booming over the music. His white linen shirt is unbuttoned just enough to hint at swagger, a glass of whiskey in his hand. He's in his element, regaling a cluster of investors with stories of his latest deals, each tale polished to make him the hero. His blue eyes scan the room, but they darken when they land on Amara, who's laughing with Ryan Carter, a venture capitalist with a reputation for backing bold ideas. Ryan, a lanky man with a boyish grin, gestures animatedly as he praises Amara's latest campaign. "That moon logo, genius. It's everywhere now," he says, his voice carrying. Lucas's jaw tightens, his grip on the glass whitening his knuckles. He downs the whiskey in one gulp, the burn fueling a growing unease. Ryan's phone buzzes and he sends a quick text to Amara. "Congrats on the campaign. You're killing it." The notification lights up her phone, resting on a nearby table. Lucas snatches it before Amara can, his eyes narrowing as he reads the message. The music seems to fade, the crowd blurring into the background. "Who's Ryan?" he demands, his voice low but sharp, cutting through the din. Amara turns startled, her hand reaching for the phone. "Just a client, Lucas. He's excited about the lounge," she says, her tone calm but firm. Lucas steps closer, his breath heavy with whiskey. "Excited, huh? You think I'm stupid?" His voice rises, drawing eyes from nearby guests. Amara's heart races, but she keeps her composure. "It's just business," she says, her eyes pleading for him to stop. A woman in a gold dress whispers to her friend. "She's got some nerve," flirting right in front of him, her words dripping with judgment, a subtle jab at Amara's presence in this elite space. Lucas's face twists, his jealousy a wildfire-consuming reason. "Don't play innocent with me," he shouts, loud enough to silence the nearest tables. The crowd parts, a ripple of tension spreading through the room. Amara steps back, her hand instinctively resting on her stomach. "Lucas, please, not here." she says, her voice steady but urgent. But his anger is unstoppable. He grabs her arm, yanking her toward the VIP area, his fingers digging into her skin. "You're making a fool of me," he hisses, his face inches from hers. Amara pulls free, her eyes flashing with defiance. "You're wrong," she says, her voice low but firm. The words only fuel his rage. In a flash, he shoves her hard, sending her stumbling into a glass table. Gasps echo as bottles crash to the floor. Before she can recover, Lucas's foot swings, a vicious kick landing on her side. Amara collapses, a cry escaping her lips as she clutches her stomach. Pain searing through her. The music cuts off, the silence deafening. Guests freeze, their faces a mix of shock and horror. A woman screams, rushing to Amara's side, while another fumbles for her phone. "Call 911!" someone shouts. Lucas stands frozen, his chest heaving, his eyes wild with a mix of rage and disbelief. A friend, a burly man named Jake, grabs his arm. "What the hell, Lucas?" he mutters, but Lucas shakes him off, muttering, "She deserved it." The words hang heavy, a damning confession in the stunned silence. Amara's vision blurs, her hands pressed desperately against her abdomen, fear for her unborn child drowning out the chaos. Sirens pierce the night as paramedics burst through Eclipse's doors, their red lights flashing against the club's silver moon. Amara is lifted onto a stretcher, her face pale, her silver dress stained with tears and blood. The crowd watches in silence as she's carried away, her eyes glazed with pain. At Jackson Memorial Hospital, the sterile hum of machines fills the air. Doctors move with urgent precision, their voices a blur of medical terms. Amara clings to consciousness, her thoughts on the child she named Zuri, a name meaning beautiful in her family's language. But the monitors tell a cruel truth. The trauma has stolen Zuri's heartbeat. To save Amara's life, doctors perform an emergency hysterectomy, a final blow that strips her of motherhood forever. Lucas lingers in the waiting room, his head in his hands, playing the grieving husband. He sends flowers, white lilies, her favorite, with a note begging forgiveness. Amara, lying in the hospital bed, turns her face to the wall, the weight of her loss heavier than any apology could lift. The weight of Amara's loss, heavier than any apology could lift, settles into the sterile silence of her hospital room. The fluorescent lights hum above, casting a cold glow on the white walls of Jackson Memorial Hospital. Tubes snake from her arm to machines that beep with mechanical indifference, each sound a reminder of the life she can no longer feel. Amara lies still, her body heavy with painkillers, her mind a fog of grief. The silver dress from that fateful night at Eclipse is gone, replaced by a thin hospital gown that clings to her like a second skin. White lilies, sent by Lucas Navarro, wilt in a vase by her bedside, their petals curling like unanswered prayers. His handwritten note, "I'm sorry, please forgive me," sits untouched, its words hollow against the void where Zuri, her unborn daughter, should be. Amara turns her face to the wall, her eyes tracing the cracks in the plaster, as if they might hold answers to the questions tearing at her heart. The hospital room is a world apart from Miami's neon pulse, a sterile cage where time slows to a crawl. Nurses move in and out, their footsteps soft but purposeful. One, a middle-aged woman with kind eyes, checks Amara's chart, her voice gentle. "You're strong, honey. Not everyone could handle this," she says, her tone warm, but tinged with an assumption that stings. Strong, as if Amara's resilience is expected, a stereotype woven into her identity as a black woman. Amara offers a faint smile, her lips trembling, but inside the comment lands like a pebble in a still pond, rippling through her grief. She's not strong, not now. She's broken, her body a map of betrayal, her dreams of motherhood stolen in a single brutal moment. Yet in the quiet, something stirs, a spark of anger, not wild but precise, like a blade being sharpened in the dark. Her sister Nia visits daily, her presence a lifeline. Nia, with her tight curls and fierce eyes, sits by the bed, her hand clasping Amara's. "You don't have to see him," Nia says, her voice low, glancing at the lilies. "He doesn't deserve you." Amara nods, but her thoughts are elsewhere, replaying the night at Eclipse, the shatter of glass, the searing pain, Lucas's cold justification. Nia brings a small box from their penthouse office, a collection of papers Amara hasn't touched in months. I thought you might need something to focus on, Nia says, her voice soft but urgent. Amara opens the box with trembling hands, expecting nothing but distraction. Instead, she finds a revelation. Contracts for Navarro Nights, each page bearing her signature alongside Lucas's. Her breath catches as she reads the fine print. She's not just his wife, but a legal co-owner of the empire. Lucas, in his arrogance, never thought to strip her of that power. The papers are a lifeline, a crack of light in her darkness, whispering of a strength she thought she'd lost. The discovery shifts something in Amara. The grief that pinned her to the bed begins to morph, not fading but hardening into resolve. She's no longer the woman who smiled through Lucas's dismissals, who let his control shape her world. The hospital bed, once a prison, becomes a crucible. He took everything, she whispers to herself, her voice barely audible, but the words carry a weight that fills the room. Her fingers trace the contracts, each signature a reminder of her role in building Navarro Nights. The crescent moon logo, her creation, isn't just a design, it's proof of her brilliance, a legacy Lucas claimed as his own. The realization ignites a fire, not of rage but of purpose. She will not be erased. Amara knows she can't do this alone. She needs someone who can wield the law like a weapon, someone who thrives on dismantling men like Lucas. Her thoughts turn to Claire Donovan, a lawyer whose name echoes in Miami's boardrooms like a warning. Known as the Blade, Claire has a reputation for cutting through the defenses of the untouchable. Amara reaches out, her voice steady despite the pain. Claire arrives the next day, her sharp suit and sharper eyes a stark contrast to the hospital's sterile haze. She sits across from Amara, her notepad open, her expression unreadable. Amara recounts the night at Eclipse, not just the violence but the years of being diminished, the subtle slights from investors who saw her as less, the weight of carrying a dream that Lucas took credit for. He thought he could break me, Amara says, her voice low but firm. I want him to lose everything he loves. Claire leans back, her eyes narrowing, not with doubt, but with calculation. You don't want a divorce, she says, her voice cool and precise. You want destruction. That's a different game, Amara. Are you ready to play it? Amara meets her gaze, the grief in her chest now a furnace of determination. I'm ready, she says, her words a vow. Claire nods, a faint smile curling her lips. Then we'll make him feel every ounce of what he took from you. The room feels smaller, the air charged with the promise of retribution. Amara's hands, once trembling, are now steady as she grips the contracts. The lilies by her bedside continue to wilt, their scent fading, but Amara's no longer fading with them. She's awakening, her pain forging a new strength, her loss a map to reclaiming her power. Amara's pain had forged a new strength, her loss a map to reclaiming her power, and in the quiet of her hospital room, that map began to take shape. The sterile walls of Jackson Memorial Hospital fade into the background as Amara sits propped against pillows, her eyes no longer tracing cracks in the plaster, but fixed on the contracts spread across her lap. Each page, inked with her signature, is a reminder of her stake in Navarro Nights, a truth Lucas Navarro never thought she'd wield. The crescent moon logo, her creation, stares back from the letterhead, a silver promise of the empire she helped build. Outside, Miami's skyline glitters through the window, its neon pulse a distant echo of the life she once knew. But Amara is no longer the woman who stood in Lucas's shadow. She's a strategist now, her grief sharpening into a weapon, her mind plotting a course to unravel the man who broke her. Claire Donovan returns, her presence a jolt of clarity in the hospital's haze. Her sharp suit cuts a stark silhouette against the fluorescent lights, her notepad replaced by a sleek tablet glowing with notes. We need to be surgical, Claire says, her voice low and precise, like a blade slicing through doubt. Lucas thrives on his image. That's where we hit first. Amara nods, her fingers tightening around a contract. She knows Lucas better than anyone. His need to be seen, to be adored, is his Achilles heel. As a marketer, Amara has spent years crafting narratives that sell dreams. Now she'll craft one to destroy a king. He's obsessed with how the world sees him, she says, her voice steady, a spark of her old fire returning. Let's make them see the truth. Claire's eyes glint with approval, and together they begin to weave a plan as intricate as the campaigns Amara once designed for Eclipse. Their first move is psychological, a whisper to unsettle Lucas's carefully curated world. Amara, still confined to her hospital bed, uses her laptop to create an anonymous social media account under a pseudonym, Nightshade. With a few clicks, she plants seeds of doubt across Miami's gossip blogs and nightlife forums. A post appears on a popular site. Is Navarro Nights as clean as its shiny facade? Rumors swirl about Lucas Navarro's erratic behavior. The words are vague but biting, designed to ripple through the city's elite circles. Amara knows how Miami talks. Rumors spread faster than wildfire in a city built on appearances. She imagines Lucas reading the post, his jaw clenching, his paranoia flaring. The thought doesn't erase her pain, but it sharpens her focus, each keystroke a step toward reclaiming her power. To amplify the pressure, Amara orchestrates a more personal strike. She contacts a discreet courier, arranging for a small package to be delivered to Lucas's office at Eclipse. Inside is a polished silver watch, its face engraved with the initials RC, Ryan Carter, the investor Lucas accused her of betraying him with. Tucked beside it is a note, handwritten in a script Amara knows will haunt him. She's mine now. Stay away. The package arrives during a meeting, and Amara pictures Lucas opening it, his face paling as his colleagues watch. She knows his mind, how it twists every glance, every word into proof of betrayal. The watch is a phantom, a shadow to feed his insecurities, and Amara feels a flicker of satisfaction, knowing it will keep him awake, his confidence eroding with every tick. Lucas's reaction is immediate. He calls Amara's hospital room, his voice a mix of anger and desperation. "Who's sending this crap?" he demands, the watch clearly rattling him. Amara's tone is calm, almost distant. "I don't know what you're talking about," she says, her words a mirror to his earlier dismissals. She hangs up, her heart pounding, not with fear but with purpose. The call is proof her plan is working. Lucas is unraveling, his paranoia a noose tightening around his own neck. Claire, reviewing the social media posts, nods approvingly. "He's already cracking," she says, "but we need more than whispers to bury him." Amara turns her attention to the contracts, her marketer's eye now searching for cracks in Lucas's empire. Late at night, when the hospital is quiet, she pores over financial records Nia smuggled from the penthouse. Her fingers tremble as she uncovers discrepancies. Funds siphoned from Navarro Nights accounts into offshore shells. Payments for projects that never materialize. Lucas's signature is scrawled across each transaction, a trail of arrogance he never thought anyone would follow. The numbers tell a story of greed, of a man who believed he was untouchable. Amara's breath catches, not just at the betrayal, but at the opportunity. "He's been stealing from his own empire," she whispers to Claire during their next meeting. Claire's eyes narrow, her mind already mapping the legal battlefield. "This is our ammunition," she says, "but we need to time it perfectly. One wrong move, and he'll slip away." The plan is meticulous, but not without risk. At a business meeting Lucas attends, one of his partners, a silver-haired investor named Harold Grayson, makes a passing remark that cuts deeper than he intends. "Amara was always a challenge to work with, wasn't she?" he says, his tone casual but laced with condescension. "I mean, she's got that intensity, doesn't she? Not exactly easy to manage." The words, delivered with a chuckle, carry the weight of assumption, a subtle jab at Amara's identity as a black woman in a world that expects her to be less. Lucas laughs, a hollow sound, but his eyes dart nervously, sensing the shifting tides. Amara hears of the comment through Nia, who caught it on a gossip podcast. It's another wound, but one that fuels her resolve. She's not just fighting Lucas now, she's fighting a world that underestimated her. Claire warns Amara of the road. "This is just the beginning," she says, her voice a quiet thunder. "To take him down, we'll need to strike harder, go deeper." Amara nods, her hands steady on the contracts, her grief now a compass guiding her forward. The hospital room, once a cage, feels like a war room, its sterile walls witness to her transformation. Miami's lights still glitter outside, but they no longer call to her with promises of glamour. They're a challenge now, a reminder that the city that crowned Lucas can also watch him fall. Amara closes her laptop, the Nightshade account still open, its whispers spreading through the digital veins of the city. She's no longer just a survivor. She's a force, and Lucas will soon learn the cost of underestimating her. Amara had become a force, and Lucas would soon learn the cost of underestimating her. But the battlefield was shifting from the shadows to the spotlight. Miami's Ultra Music Festival looms like a glittering colossus, its stages pulsing with bass that shakes the earth, drawing thousands to Bayfront Park under a sky streaked with lasers and smoke. The festival is the city's heartbeat, a chaotic symphony of neon body paint, throbbing crowds, and DJs who command the night like gods. For Navarro Nights, it's a crown jewel, an event where Lucas Navarro's empire shines brightest, with Eclipse sponsoring a main stage draped in the Silver Crescent Moon logo. Tonight, that stage will become a weapon, its lights turned against the man who built it. Amara, no longer confined to her hospital bed, moves through the city with a predator's focus, her plan with Claire Donovan now in motion. But to strike at Lucas's heart, she needs an ally who knows his weaknesses and his enemies. Ryan Carter enters the frame, a venture capitalist with a boyish grin and a grudge. Amara meets him in a discreet cafe overlooking the bay, its glass walls reflecting the city's restless shimmer. Ryan, lean and sharp in a tailored blazer, leans forward, his voice low. "Lucas screwed me over 3 years ago," he says, his green eyes flashing with old wounds. "A deal for a club in South Beach, millions lost because he played dirty." Amara listens, her hands steady around a coffee cup, but her mind is calculating. Ryan's anger mirrors her own, his desire to see Lucas fall aligning with her mission. "I can help you," he says, sliding a USB drive across the table. "Financial records, emails, proof he's been skimming from investors." Amara takes the drive, her fingers brushing the cool metal, but a flicker of doubt crosses her mind. Ryan's eagerness feels too convenient, his motives veiled. "Why trust me?" she asks, her voice calm but probing. Ryan's smile tightens. "Because we both want him gone." She nods, but the unease lingers, a shadow in her strategy. Their plan takes shape with surgical precision. The Ultra Music Festival is the perfect stage to expose Lucas's cracks to the world. Amara, leveraging her marketing genius, hacks into the festival's digital infrastructure with Ryan's help. He provides access to a backdoor in the event's AV system, a relic from his days funding tech startups. Together, they craft a devastating reveal. At the peak of Eclipse's sponsored set, the main stage's massive LED screens will flash a message: "Navarro Nights built on lies," alongside screenshots of Lucas's offshore accounts, the same ones Amara uncovered in the hospital. The visuals are stark: bank transfers, falsified invoices, Lucas's signature scrawled like a confession. Amara designs the display to hit like a thunderclap, timed to the drop of the headliner's beat, ensuring every eye in the crowd sees it. "He'll be humiliated in front of his world," she tells Claire over a secure call, her voice steady but electric with anticipation. Claire's response is a low hum. "Make sure it's airtight. One slip and he'll spin it." The festival night arrives, a kaleidoscope of sound and color. Crowds surge under the Miami sky, their cheers drowning out the distant crash of waves. Lucas stands on a VIP platform, his white suit gleaming, shaking hands with sponsors and influencers. He's the picture of confidence, oblivious to the storm brewing. Amara watches from a rented loft nearby, her laptop open, the live stream of the festival flickering on her screen. Her heart pounds, not with fear, but with the thrill of execution. As the headliner's set builds, the crowd roars and the moment arrives. The beat drops, and the screens explode with her message: "Navarro Nights built on lies." The crowd gasps, phones raised to capture the damning numbers flashing in bold red. Lucas freezes, his smile collapsing, his eyes darting to the screens. A reporter in the press pit shouts, "Lucas, what's this about fraud?" The question cuts through the noise amplified by the crowd's murmurs. A woman in a sequined dress leans toward her friend, her voice carrying over the chaos. I knew his wife would stir up trouble, she says, her tone sharp with judgment, a subtle jab at Amara's presence in a world that never fully welcomed her. The comment, caught on a nearby influencer's livestream, stings, but Amara brushes it aside, her focus locked on Lucas. He stammers, trying to laugh it off. Technical glitch, he calls out, his voice strained, but the crowd's energy shifts, whispers of doubt spreading like ripples. Social media ignites, hashtags trending as clips of the screens flood the internet. Lucas's empire, built on image, begins to crack under the weight of exposure. Amara's lips curve into a faint smile, her fingers hovering over the keyboard, but the victory feels fragile. As the festival descends into chaos, Ryan texts Amara, "We need to talk, now." His message, curt and urgent, sends a chill through her. She agreed to this alliance, but his intensity raises red flags. Is he a true partner, or does he have his own game? Amara closes her laptop, the live stream still playing. The crowd's roar now a distant echo. She feels the weight of her planned success, but Ryan's words linger, a crack in her armor. Lucas's humiliation is only the beginning, and Amara knows the path ahead is treacherous. Her eyes drift to the city's skyline, its lights pulsing like a challenge, daring her to see this through. Amara's eyes lingered on Miami's skyline, its pulsing lights a challenge daring her to see her plan through. But Ryan Carter's cryptic text, "We need to talk, now," cast a shadow over her fragile victory. The loft where she watched the Ultra Music Festival's chaos unfold feels claustrophobic now. The hum of the city outside a faint echo against the storm brewing in her mind. Ryan's message, curt and laced with urgency, sits heavy on her phone screen, a crack in the alliance she thought she could trust. Amara's fingers hover over the keyboard, the live stream of the festival still flickering, its images of Lucas's humiliation now tainted by doubt. She's played the game of trust before, with Lucas, and it cost her everything, her daughter Zuri, her future as a mother. Now, as she steps deeper into her revenge, the question gnaws at her. Is Ryan a partner in her war, or another man waiting to betray her? She meets Ryan at a dimly lit bar on Ocean Drive, its neon signs casting pink and blue streaks across the sidewalk. The air smells of salt and cigarette smoke, the distant thump of music a reminder of the world she's unraveling. Ryan sits in a corner booth, his boyish grin replaced by a tense jaw, his fingers drumming on a glass of bourbon. "You pulled it off," he says, his voice low, but there's no warmth in his eyes. "The festival was a masterstroke, Amara. Lucas is bleeding out there." She studies him, her own drink untouched, her marketer's instinct reading the shift in his tone. "But you didn't call me here to celebrate," she says, her voice calm but edged with steel. Ryan leans forward, his gaze sharp. "I want in on Navarro Nights. With Lucas out, I can take it over, make it bigger than he ever could." The words land like a blade, confirming her suspicions. Ryan's not just an ally, he's a vulture circling her empire. Amara's heart races, but her face remains a mask. She thinks of Claire Donovan's warning. Don't let emotion cloud your judgment. Ryan's ambition mirrors Lucas's. Hungry, ruthless, cloaked in charm. "You think I'd hand you what I built?" she asks, her voice low, her eyes locking onto his. Ryan's smile falters, but he presses on. "We're partners, Amara. I gave you the records. Without me, you'd have nothing." The arrogance in his voice stings, a reminder of every time Lucas dismissed her. She leans back, her mind racing. Ryan's USB drive gave her the festival's ammunition, but trusting him further could cost her everything. "I'll think about it," she says, standing, her tone final. As she walks away, the bar's neon glow feels like a warning, urging her to tread carefully in a game where allies can turn to enemies. Back in her temporary apartment, a small space far from the penthouse she once shared with Lucas, Amara dives deeper into the financial records. The city's lights filter through her window, casting long shadows across the desk where she works. Her fingers, once trembling with grief, now move with purpose, sifting through spreadsheets and bank statements. She uncovers a bombshell. Lucas has been funneling millions from Navarro Nights into a private account. Funds used to purchase a remote island off the Bahamas, a secret retreat he never mentioned. The discovery is a gut punch, not just for the betrayal, but for the audacity. Lucas didn't just steal from investors, he built a hidden kingdom, believing he was untouchable. Amara's breath catches, her anger now a furnace, but her marketer's mind sees opportunity. This island is the key to dismantling him for good. She meets Claire at a law office overlooking the bay, its glass walls reflecting Miami's restless shimmer. Claire, her suit as sharp as her mind, listens as Amara lays out the findings. He's been laundering money through shell companies, Amara says, sliding a folder across the table. The island's proof. His name's on every deed. Claire's eyes gleam, her pen tapping the folder. This is federal-level fraud, she says, her voice a quiet thunder. We can take this to the authorities, but it's a risk. Once they're involved, there's no going back. Amara nods, her resolve unshaken. Let's do it, she says, but not through Ryan. He's playing his own game. Claire agrees, and they draft a plan to anonymously tip off the FBI, ensuring the evidence is airtight. Amara's heart pounds, not with fear, but with the weight of her choice. She's crossing a line, turning her personal vendetta into a legal reckoning. The tip is sent, but Amara's work doesn't stop. She monitors the fallout from the festival, where Lucas's reputation continues to crumble. A gossip podcast, Miami After Dark, amplifies the chaos, with a guest, a former Navarro Nights employee, making a cutting remark. Amara always seemed out of place, you know? Too different for that crowd. The comment, laced with racial undertones, stings when Amara hears it, streaming through her laptop's speakers. It's another reminder of the world that never fully accepted her, a world that saw her brilliance as an anomaly. But the pain fuels her, sharpening her focus. She's not just fighting Lucas now, she's challenging the assumptions that diminished her. Lucas, meanwhile, spirals. In his office at Eclipse, the crescent moon logo mocks him from every corner. He paces, his tie loosened, his phone buzzing with unanswered calls from investors. The festival's humiliation has left him paranoid, his once charming demeanor replaced by a haggard edge. He snaps at his staff, his voice hoarse from too much whiskey. "Who's leaking this?" he demands, slamming his fist on the desk. His oldest friend Jake tries to calm him, but Lucas brushes him off. "You're with her, aren't you?" he accuses, his eyes wild. Jake steps back, shaking his head. "You lost her, Lucas. You lost us all." The words cut deeper than Lucas expects, a crack in his crumbling empire. He sits alone, the city's lights taunting him through the window, his kingdom slipping through his fingers. Amara, in her apartment, feels the weight of her choices. The FBI tip is a gamble, one that could bring Lucas down, but also expose her to scrutiny. Ryan's ambition looms like a storm cloud, his motives a puzzle she hasn't solved. She closes her eyes, the memory of Zuri's name a quiet anchor. The path she's on is fraught with risk, but she's no longer the woman who bowed to Lucas's control. Miami's skyline, visible through her window, pulses with defiance, a mirror to her own resolve. She's playing a dangerous game, and every move counts. Amara was playing a dangerous game, every move a calculated risk, and as Miami's skyline pulsed with defiance, she knew the time had come to face her betrayer. The city's neon glow fades behind her as she drives toward a warehouse on the edge of Miami's shore, where the Atlantic's restless waves crash against rusted pilings. The night is heavy with salt and silence, the air thick with the promise of a reckoning. Amara's hands grip the steering wheel, her heart a steady drumbeat, not of fear, but of purpose. The warehouse looms ahead, a hulking silhouette against the moonlit horizon, its weathered walls a stark contrast to the glittering world of Eclipse. She's chosen this place deliberately, a nowhere space, far from the city's lights where truths can't hide. Lucas Navarro, the man who stole her daughter, her future, and her voice, will meet her here, drawn by a cryptic note she sent. A time, a place, no explanation. She knows he'll come, his desperation for answers, a leash she holds tight. The warehouse is cavernous, its concrete floor scarred by years of neglect, the air heavy with the tang of sea and rust. A single skylight lets in a sliver of moonlight, casting a pale glow that dances on the walls. Amara stands alone, her white dress flowing like a ghost, the crescent moon pendant around her neck glinting faintly. The pendant, a delicate silver carving of the logo she designed for Navarro Nights, is more than jewelry. It's a symbol of Zuri, the daughter she lost, the name woven into every light that ever shone in Lucas's empire. She clutches it, her fingers steady, her grief now a blade honed for this moment. The sound of footsteps echoes and Lucas appears, his silhouette framed in the doorway. His once pristine suit is rumpled, his face haggard, the charm that once defined him replaced by a haunted edge. "Amara," he calls, his voice raw, breaking the silence. "What do you want from me?" She doesn't move, her eyes locking onto his, her presence commanding the vast emptiness. "You took everything," she says, her voice low but resonant, each word a stone dropped into still water. "But you don't even know what you've lost." Lucas steps closer, his hands raised, pleading. "It was a mistake," he says, his voice cracking. "I didn't mean it. I loved you." The words are a hollow echo, as empty as the apologies he sent with wilting lilies. Amara's lips curve into a faint, bitter smile. She begins to circle him, her steps deliberate, her dress brushing the concrete like a whisper. "You love control," she says. "You love the world bowing to you. But you never saw me." Her words are a scalpel, cutting through the lies he's told himself. She recounts her plan, not the social media whispers or the festival screens, but the precision of her intent. "Every step was mine," she says. "Every crack in your empire was carved by me." Lucas's face twists, a mix of rage and despair. "You're destroying me," he chokes out, his hands clenching. "Why?" Amara stops, her gaze unyielding. She lifts the pendant, the crescent moon catching the light. "This," she says, her voice steady but heavy with sorrow, "is Zuri, the daughter you took from me. Every light in your clubs, every logo you claimed as yours was hers. You never asked her name. You never cared." The revelation hits Lucas like a physical blow. His knees buckle, his breath catching in his throat. "Zuri," he whispers, the name unfamiliar, a weight he never carried. Amara steps closer, her voice dropping to a near whisper. "You built your kingdom on her light, and you destroyed her. Now you'll live with that." Tears stream down Lucas's face, his body trembling as he collapses to the concrete, his sobs echoing in the space. "I didn't mean it," he pleads, his voice broken, his hands reaching for her. "Amara, please." But she stands tall, her silhouette framed by the moonlight, unmoved by his regret. "This isn't about what you meant," she says, her words cold and final. "This is about what you did." She pauses, her eyes sweeping over him, a man reduced to a shadow of the king he once was. "You and your world thought I wasn't enough," she says, her voice carrying the weight of years of slights, of investors' condescending smiles, of whispers that called her out of place. "You thought I'd break, but I'm the one who built you and I'm the one who's ending you." She places the pendant on the ground before him, its silver glow a quiet accusation. "Live with her name," she says, her voice a command, a curse. "Zuri, you'll never escape it." She turns, her steps echoing as she walks toward the door, the moonlight painting her as a figure of unyielding strength. Lucas's cries follow her, desperate and incoherent, but she doesn't look back. The warehouse swallows his pleas, its vast emptiness a mirror to the void he created. Amara steps into the night. The oceans roar a chorus to her resolve, her white dress catching the breeze like a sail carrying her forward. Amara stepped into the night. The oceans roar a chorus to her resolve, leaving Lucas broken in the warehouse's shadows with Zuri's name echoing in his ears. Miami's skyline, once a beacon of their shared ambition, now stands as a silent witness to his fall. Lucas Navarro, the man who once ruled the city's nightlife, stumbles from the warehouse, his crumpled suit clinging to his frame like a shroud. The crescent moon pendant, left behind by Amara, glints on the concrete, its silver light a haunting reminder of the daughter he never knew. His hands tremble as he picks it up, the name Zuri searing into his mind, a weight he cannot shake. The city that crowned him king now turns its back, its lights no longer welcoming but accusing, each pulse a judgment on the empire he built on lies. The fallout is swift and merciless. The FBI, armed with Amara's anonymous tip, raids Navarro Knights' offices, their black SUVs tearing through Miami's streets like vultures descending on a corpse. Bank accounts are frozen, assets seized, the penthouse overlooking Biscayne Bay stripped bare by court orders. Lucas's luxury cars, a fleet of sleek black machines that once defined his status, are towed from Eclipse's lot, their chrome glinting one last time under the neon glow. His art collection, a gallery of modern pieces he flaunted at galas, is being auctioned to cover mounting debts. Investors, once eager to shake his hand, now dodge his calls, their silence louder than any rejection. The gossip blogs that once worshipped him churn out headlines. Navarro's empire crumbles. Nightlife king dethroned. Social media, the same platform Amara used to plant whispers, erupts with clips from the Ultra Music Festival. The damning screens replayed endlessly, each view another nail in his coffin. Lucas drifts through Miami like a ghost, his once charismatic presence reduced to a hollow shell. He checks into a cheap motel on the city's edge, its flickering sign a far cry from Eclipse's silver moon. The walls are thin, the air stale with cigarette smoke, and Lucas sits on a sagging bed, the pendant clutched in his hand. Zuri's name haunts him, a refrain in his sleepless nights, mingling with the memory of Amara's voice. You'll never escape it. He replays the warehouse confrontation, her words cutting deeper than any blade. His paranoia, once a spark, now consumes him. He sees enemies in every shadow, convinced his former allies, Jake, the investors, even strangers, are conspiring against him. He tries to call Jake, his voice hoarse with desperation, but the line goes dead. You lost us all, Jake had said, and the truth of it burns. Lucas, the man who once owned Miami, is now a pariah, his name erased from the city's glittering narrative. Across town, Amara stands in the ruins of Navarro Knights, her presence a quiet command. The Eclipse office, once Lucas's throne room, is now hers, its walls still adorned with the crescent moon logo she designed. She runs her fingers over the emblem, a bittersweet reminder of Zuri, the daughter whose light inspired it. Amara's grief remains, a constant ache beneath her resolve, but she channels it into creation. She announces a rebranding. Navarro Knights becomes Zuri's light, a name that honors her daughter and redefines the empire as a beacon of resilience. The transition is meticulous, her marketer's genius reshaping the brand. New campaigns roll out, billboards across Miami now proclaiming, Zuri's light, rise above. The clubs reopen under her vision, their stages glowing with silver and gold, a tribute to the strength that carried her through loss. Miami's nightlife, once Lucas's domain, now bows to Amara, her name whispered with awe where his was once cheered. The media takes notice, but not without a sting. A profile in a glossy magazine dubs Amara Miami's uncontrollable flame, a phrase that carries a subtle edge, implying her strength is wild, untamed, a stereotype rooted in her identity as a black woman. The writer, a critic known for sharp prose, praises her rise but frames it with a patronizing lens. Few could have predicted her ascent, given her unconventional presence in Miami's elite circles. Amara reads the article at her desk, her jaw tightening. The words echo the slights she's endured. Investors' condescending smiles, whispers of being out of place. But she doesn't flinch. Instead, she turns the phrase into fuel, launching a campaign that reclaims the flame as a symbol of power. Billboards feature a stylized fire under the crescent moon, with the tagline, uncontrollable, unstoppable. The city responds, her clubs packed, her story resonating with those who've been underestimated. Amara's rise is not without cost. Late at night, in her new office, she sits alone, the city's skyline stretching before her. The crescent moon logo glows on a screen, a reminder of Zuri's absence. Her eyes sharp with purpose, soften with grief. She's rebuilt an empire, but the void of her daughter remains, a wound that no victory can heal. She touches the pendant around her neck, a twin to the one she left with Lucas, and whispers Zuri's name, a quiet ritual to keep her close. The city outside pulses with life, its lights a testament to her triumph, but also a mirror to her loss. Amara has become a symbol of resilience, but the weight of her journey lingers in her quiet moments, a balance between strength and sorrow. The story closes with a question that hangs in the air, as heavy as Miami's humid night. Lucas, a man who had everything, now has nothing but the memory of Zuri, a name that haunts his every step. Amara, the woman he underestimated, has risen from his betrayal, her empire reborn under her daughter's light. But what has she truly won? Her victory is undeniable, her strength a beacon, but the line between justice and vengeance blurs in the neon glow. Did Amara reclaim her power, or did she lose something in the fire of her retribution? The city watches, its lights pulsing with secrets, leaving the truth to those who dare to judge. One woman's rise, another's fall. Where does justice end and vengeance begin? As Miami's lights fade, Amara's story leaves us standing at a crossroads. Did she carve out justice, or was her vengeance a fire that consumed too much? Her triumph over Lucas Navarro reshaped an empire, but the name Zuri lingers, a haunting echo of what was lost. What would you have done in her place? Would you have risen from betrayal to reclaim your power, or chosen a different path? Drop a comment below to share your thoughts. Did Amara find justice, or did she cross a line? Your voice matters in this tale of resilience and retribution. Thank you for joining us on this journey through Miami's neon nights, where strength is forged in pain. We're grateful for your time and passion. Stay tuned for more stories that challenge, inspire, and ignite. Until next time, keep chasing the truth under the city's restless glow.